There you are.
Hey.
Now I'm all blurry. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Capes Lunatics. Me, Phil, Justin, the Owls here.
Woohoo.
And we have a special guest. I've been eagerly awaiting this interview. Mr. Eric Grundhauser, who is the writer of Spider-Man For Dummies. Again, this is like the third For Dummies book we've talked about. I've been thoroughly enjoying them, but thank you for joining us, Eric.
Hey, thanks for having me. I am always excited to continue talking about Spider-Man and dummies, two of my favorite subjects, separately and together.
But yes, like I told you, I talked to Troy Brownfield. I told him, I said, I think to me, the biggest challenge of writing one of these books would be like how to filter 60 some years of information into a book. Yeah. So it's like, you want to give kind of a feel of Spider-Man's whole history, but you don't want to just like shock the people who haven't been reading comics for a long time.
Yeah. It wasn't as easy as I'd hoped. I think, as you say, Spider-Man has a long and just like super interesting history. In preparation for the book, I read not every Spider-Man comic, but let's go ahead and say 80% or above of
it's still a lot.
Most of the major runs, all of Amazing, all of Web, all the Spectacular, and a lot of it I'd already read before, but it becomes tricky because you end up like you falling really in love with like minor but great issues that you're like, well, should I talk about this? Like, no, you don't necessarily need to know about that, like how much Liz Allen do I talk about, figuring out sort of what's pertinent and what's not. I think the real key was just like being unafraid to be edited. I think writing a lot and sort of listening to my editors when they both at Marvel and at Wiley, when they would say like, okay, that's not necessary. I'm trying to think of a good example of anything that was cut just for space, but I mean, the villains chapter in particular, like Spider-Man has a rogues gallery, that could circle the Earth 8 times. And picking who to include on that. I know I had a lot more written about Kingpin that I ended up putting in, because you forget that Kingpin, well, maybe you guys don't, but sometimes people forget that Kingpin was a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
Like originally. Yeah. And even Dr. Doom has a lot of Spider-Man contact. But you gotta pick and choose.
Right. And like you seem like you briefly skim across like characters Spider-Man is teamed up with. It's like name a Marvel character Spider-Man has not come in contact with.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, everyone, I think I say it in the book, is that like essentially he's touched every character for reasons both in universe and out of universe, right? Both because he is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, that he's friends with everybody, and also outside, the meta contextual reason that he's like the most popular superhero on the planet. So of course you're going to put him in every book you can. But he works, that's one of the things that makes Spider-Man so amazing, is you can put him next to any other character, and whether he's acting as like a sort of grounded foil to the hard to relate to antics of someone like the Silver Surfer, or he is acting as like a mentor to like Hope in the X-Men, like in the Avengers versus X-Men or something, like he fits it. He's such a relatable and sort of malleable character that he can really fit in with anybody. But one of my favorite pairings is probably him and Wolverine. Like I'm not even a huge Wolverine fan. But you put Wolverine next to Spider-Man and it's like magic, because you have Wolverine's like tough guy, gruff, I'm not happy about anything exterior, next to Spider-Man's joking, fun attitude. And they both come off the better for it.
I know. I mean, well, before we jumped on, you were talking about Fantastic Four too, so I assume you're a big fan of Fantastic Four also. I mean, Spider-Man and Johnny Storm. I mean, that is quite always the team up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean that's like it's Marvel's best friends.
Yeah.
They're the greatest. I mean, Hickman's run with Jonathan Hickman's the writer Jonathan Hickman's run. I don't know how much I should be eliding for the audience, but Jonathan Hickman's run on Future Foundation when Spider-Man joined the cast was so good. And that, I mean, one of my favorite Spider-Man moments is in that run, actually, when Johnny Storm supposedly dies and Spider-Man and Franklin have like this really beautiful heart-to-heart moment on a rooftop talking about how Spider-Man lost his uncle too. You know,
I remember that. Yeah, it was
gorgeous.
great. Yeah.
What a moment.
Yeah.
All right, I probably should have led with this, but all right. So, where did you first discover Spider-Man?
Yes. So Spider-Man was the first comic book I ever got. I don't know what year it was. Would have been in the 80s. But it was Spectacular Spider-Man Annual number 9, I think. The Cloak and Dagger on the cover.
Yeah.
Got it here somewhere. But that was the first comic book I ever read. I mean, my granddad bought it for me at like a gas station in Montana. And it just hooked me, you know, like it was kind of there were 2 stories in it. One of them was like a part of the Atlantis Attacks crossover, so I didn't really know what was happening. But and then the other one was like this like grittier Cloak and Dagger backup. And you know, but in both of them, it's like New York City and crime and action and intrigue, and you know, even like I didn't know what the hell was happening with Atlantis Attacks, but I wanted to find out. You know, and from there it was really off to the races. You know, Spider-Man continued to be one of my favorite characters. It was, I think, he was probably the first character I started actually collecting when I started collecting comics in the 90s, mid 90s, early to mid 90s. So I really fell in love with like Eric Larson's run, and Todd McFarlane, obviously, and that sort of era of comics. And then it just kind of continued from there. And then even today, you know, and it was fun doing research for this book and getting to catch up on some of the like more modern eras that I may have skipped over, missed. So like rediscovering Chip Zdarsky's Spectacular Spider-Man run, which is just front to back, a classic sort of recap of Spider-Man's entire history and what makes him great as a hero, as a civilian. Zeb Wells' recent run, recent-ish, I guess I should say. Just one of the funniest Spider-Man runs I think I've ever throughout all of his history, and also weird in the way that I like comic books. I mean, Spider-Man's just, you know, there's a reason he's the most popular superhero in the world.
Oh yeah, we always joke. We have a joke. It's like you couldn't have a Marvel comic in the 90s unless Spider-Man showed up somewhere within the first 3 issues of your series.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
It's like a law.
Yeah.
He probably didn't know why he was there either.
He was taking pictures, you know. Peter Parker was taking pictures. Like, hey,
who's this Darkhawk guy?
Yeah, he was looking for a clone. He was like somewhere, you know. It's like who is Scryer? Still, no one knows.
People, you know, talk bad about the Clone Saga. I love the Clone Saga.
Totally, I'll say rereading the Clone Saga because you know it still has its reputation as this like colossal whatever, right? Colossal sort of fiasco. But rereading it, like, you know, it's a little convoluted and a little out there in the way that 90s comics were, but like it's pretty damn good. Like there's a lot of like really fun stories in there, you know.
And great creative teams on all of that. You said you were discovering some of the more modern runs. When doing research for the book, did you discover or rediscover any like gems from the past that you had forgotten about?
Well, I think, you know, before researching the book, I don't know that I'd ever really. I think there's probably 2 instances. I think, like, I don't think I ever really dug into John Romita's entire run.
Ooh, cool.
I think I'd like touch down on it here and there for a couple issues here, a couple issues there, but I'd never sort of like given it a straight through read. And it's just incredible. Like just some of the best like comics That,
Are you talking senior?
Sorry, yes, senior.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that I think there's an argument to be made that Junior is the best Spider-Man artist of all time, but
probably the most prolific. I mean, I think he always touches down, even if it's just for a limited time. I think every decade since like the 80s or something, he's done some Spider-Man.
Definitely.
Incredible.
He's always there. And I mean, again, controversial opinion, maybe, but I do think that Junior is like one of the best, if not the best, like throughout the entire history. But yeah, sorry, John Romita Sr., like his original run, you know, all the like when Spider-Man starts doing like campus protests and stuff, and like, you know, really sort of becoming a sort of like culturally awakened figure as like the real world starts to bleed a little bit more, you know, because that early Lee and Ditko stuff is so terrific, but it's much more, it still has a lot of the hallmarks of like the golden age, you know, you're looking at mad scientists more and stuff like that. And then, you know, that later Stan Lee into John Romita, and I forget now who took over the writing after Stan Lee, but you know, that immediately after era, I think they're just really incredible and really some of the best Spider-Man comics, because it really has a big focus on Peter and like what his life is like. So I think that was really amazing. I think the other example I would use is sort of some of the like mid to late 80s stuff, I think. So like specifically the story I'm speaking of specifically, and good timing for this, is Funeral Arrangements, which is illustrated by Sal Buscema. R.I.P., who just passed away. And you know, it's a Vulture story. It's like the 2-issue best Vulture story, probably.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, so good. So, you know, like full of pathos, unexpected, you know, twists, you know, and very like dark, not in the same way as like a Kraven's Last Hunt, but still like just a really affecting story. Also has more Spider-Man than Kraven's Last Hunt. Not
definitely. Yeah.
True. Yeah. And that was, I think, J.M. DeMatteis wrote that one, I think.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the timing is just weird, but yeah, I mean, everyone should go out now, because I think they just started, because we've talked to J.M. DeMatteis, like they've started collecting like that run of like him and Sal on Spectacular, just like recently. So
finally,
finally is right. Like that's, you know, like I think when you think of Spider-Man writers too, like DeMatteis is one of the most prolific and like one of the most influential Spider-Man writers. Whose name is almost never, maybe not almost never, but not often mentioned. You know, I think often overshadowed by the artists that probably.
Well, that's the thing with Spider-Man. It's like there's so much like good stuff, and at one point we had 4 monthly books at a time, so it's like stuff does get lost because there were so many, you know, good writers, good artists, you know, just so much story that, you know, stuff does get lost.
Totally. I also think it was like, especially in that era when you had like you know, the like early 90s when they had the boom going on, and I think so many of those artists were trying to essentially find their way to the same deal that McFarlane got, you know, where it's like you get to write and do the art on your own separate thing, and like this is the McFarlane show over here, right? And where other people were still on a more classic, you know, you're a writer or artist and very much up to these editorial whims in a way that McFarlane didn't seem to have the same sort of reins. And you could really see people trying to like put their mark on things. Here's another fun, controversial opinion I have, or maybe not. I don't know if it's controversial, but I prefer Eric Larson's work to McFarlane's in the 90s.
Nice. I like that.
I think I don't know if it's nostalgia, but when I go back, I find it like it still just hits me.
Oh yeah, it's probably nostalgia for me because like I started with Todd McFarlane, so like that whole McFarlane and the Eric Larson and the Mark Bagley, I love that. That's like my favorite, artistically my favorite like era.
Great lineup.
Yeah, you said you started with Atlantis Attacks. I know the feeling. Like the first 2 Spider-Man issues I picked up off the rack. There were 2 back-to-back Amazing Spider-Mans. In the middle of Inferno, it's the one Harry Osborn versus Ned Leeds, and then the next one with the Lizard. I'm like, okay, this is happening, and then inanimate objects are coming to life and attacking Spider-Man. Okay,
confusing start. Yeah,
but I do think there, I think in comics discourse, you hear a lot of people talking about comic or series having like jumping on points, right? And I think those are important, but I do think people might not give I don't think they give credit to the effect of like a new reader finding like a weird mid issue of a crossover, right?
Yes.
Especially young readers who, if they're anything like me, and I hope some of them are, they, it's like, I don't know what's happening, but I really want to find out,
right?
Like, why is this guy doing this?
Yeah.
XYZ.
Yeah, I think that's some of the fun we had. That these younger generations, don't know of, like, just jumping on a book in the middle, at issue 312, and then like, okay, what? Let me feel my way through this, and okay. Here's a controversy. How do you feel about like when they reboot, we get new number ones every so often? I get what they're trying to do, luring in new readers and stuff, and getting sales up. But I'm just like, you would think that would confuse new readers, because it's like, oh, I started with number one. Well, which one?
Which one
came out? The one from 2 years ago?
I feel like that's shifted, right? Like I feel like now I am more comfortable with it than I was with the way it was done in the 90s, because I think that when that was happening in the 1990s, it was done in an effort to sort of drum up collector interest, right? And and less for a story reason. But I feel like the business and the way that people read has changed a bit. And so now I think the impetus behind those sorts of reboots are less about creating collector's items, although I'm sure that's still a consideration to some degree, and more about fitting them in, like, story-wise into an easier to collect package. So, like if you're releasing a new season that's got a new number one all the time, and then you can put out you could start a new trade series or something like that, like that. I think, to me at least, it gives the creators a little bit more, it gives a little more consideration to the creators, like what they're doing, like gives them like, okay, even if you're just doing 12 issues, at least now you have a beginning and end, you can do that, and it's less like it was in that earlier era, I think, where you maybe had a creator team that was working for a long time, and all of a sudden they're like, no, we're rebooting. We need a new number one. It's got to have foil. It's going to be hollow. We're bagging it. It's going to have a trading card in it.
Someone's got to die.
Yeah, 3 people at least dead.
At least,
including the main character, the title character. So I guess I'm a little of two minds about it, but I think the way it's done now, I feels a little more creator friendly to me. And audience friendly. Like, it's the way people read now. Comics have moved much more to a like serialized, like television style of storytelling. As those worlds have sort of gotten closer. And I think that that's what audiences sort of look for better or worse.
Yeah, I get that. And I don't know. Sometimes I wish people stayed on longer on books, but I don't know if it's just Marvel's not looking for that. And then I think some people, there's so many creators now that have like their own creator and stuff too, and they're working on more than one thing at once. So
like 7 or 8 books a month. Yeah,
totally. Well, I think that part of that too is, in some ways it's just the economics of the business, it's the same in bands, I was reading up on one of my favorite bands that I'd gone to see recently, right? And I was reading an interview with the lead singer who was like, oh yeah, well, I ran out of PTO, so our tour had to end. And I'm like, this is like a national touring band, but they don't make any money from it. And I think that there is a similar issue with like creators. They make money from it, but
It's not
unless
enough
you're doing 7 or 8 books.
Yeah, it's not enough to live on. Yeah,
Not entirely, no.
yeah.
And that's it's a little out of my wheelhouse to fix, but but yeah, it is. I agree though. I would love to see more extended runs. Like I don't think you see stuff quite as often or you see runs quite as often that are as long as they used to be.
Yeah.
You don't like people don't get to stretch quite as much.
And I feel like with creators loan on a book as long, it's like we haven't been getting as much good stuff with like supporting casts as we used to, especially with Spider-Man.
Sure. Yeah, there's just not as much time,
Yeah.
I was not to make other alternate media analogy, but I was having a conversation with a friend about television shows and how, because I think I was trying to convince them to, as I do to everyone I've ever met, including anyone listening here, to watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Best show.
Oh yeah, best. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're looking at the episodes and they're like 22 episodes a season, man.
Yeah, and there's like 7 or 8 seasons, but
like 7 or 8 seasons. I'm like,
it's worth it though. Yeah,
that's the best part.
Yes.
But like I think there's a thing, when you had to do 22 seasons, right? You had this spread and you had this room to stretch. You had every so often you had to just have a weird episode where they were exploring something that they didn't expect to explore. And every so often, like that was the magic, right? Like that was the really good stuff. Exactly. And when you truncate that, like a lot of shows now are 8 episodes or 10 or less, and that's like, that gives you enough to do exactly the story beats you need, and everything else, there's just no room.
Right. It's like an edited version of everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't get room, as you're saying, Phil, like you don't get as much time to like, why don't we just follow a day in this side character and get to know them, because it's not
one issue. Yeah.
Right.
Just spend one issue with that character in their life.
Yeah. It's just harder to justify when you don't have that same model.
Right. Yeah, when they're thinking about stories to fill trade paperback collections or something like that, they don't really think about those. What kind of one and done stories, which were kind of falling out of fashion right about when you started collecting, like Atlantis Attacks. That was kind of the beginning of the event craze, where we had these long overarching stories that would kind of take over and railroad the narrative of all of these books at least a couple of times a year. And I felt like that made it difficult for readers to understand what was going on. Like, I mean, you were confused by the Atlantis Attack stuff, but it made you want to know what was going on with the regular story. But some of the readers I could see that being off-putting to some of the readers in this big event, or like Acts of Vengeance, or any Operation Galactic Storm or something like that. I can just imagine somebody picking up one of the Acts of Vengeance books as their first Spider-Man when he's getting the Captain Universe powers and being like, what the hell is this? What am I reading?
Just punch the Hulk in the orbit? What?
Here's a funny story from doing the research, is that I hadn't gone back and read that Captain Universe Spider-Man stuff in a long time. It's always been in the back of my head as like, and then there was this era where he got cosmic powers and it lasted for a little while. And I was like, and then I can't really remember what happened to him. It's fine. But I know it's like the costume still pops up in video games and everything. Like it's still part of Spider-Man. When you really go back and look at it, he was Captain Universe for like half an issue. Like an issue and a half.
Like he had the powers for a little bit, but they fully came out in the one issue. It was like, but the whole thing.
And then his like the cosmic reason for him, like the Captain Universe's like astral sight needed to give him to him was to beat the Tri-Sentinel. Like, which I always thought was so funny that like, oh, everyone's still talking about the threat of the Tri-Sentinel.
It's like, whoa, coincidentally, thank goodness I had those powers. So when Magneto showed up or the Hulk shows up,
good timing.
That would, even if it was like to beat Magneto, I'd be like, okay, that's fair. Magneto is, but it's a Sentinel, but it's got 3 faces.
It was Loki magic. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay. You're not wrong. No, I'm just playing. I have a soft spot for.
But no, like I was saying before, like because Spider-Man, basically touches every point in the Marvel universe. Like again, I mean that's the first time I had ever heard of Captain Universe. So like Spider-Man taught me, who and what Captain Universe was.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I had no clue who that was.
Oh yeah,
it was super surprising. Yeah.
Well, and even like going back, like it was a little before I'd started reading comics, but when I started reading back a little, like seeing Spider-Man, I think it was I'm thinking about it. Like I remember picking up Infinity Gauntlet #1 and finding that that was on a spinner rack in a Walden Books, and I was like, Infinity Gauntlet, everybody's on the cover of this. Like, oh my God, what is happening? And because again, I didn't really know that comics did that in that way, but like following Spider-Man through that, I'm like, he's got to find a way. Oh no, they crushed his head with a rock. Like, like mind-blowing stuff to me. Like, how could they possibly do that? But then you follow him again, like further back, and you follow him into Secret Wars and all of those adventures. I think that there is certainly an effect that too much, like a glut of events, has on new readers especially, and on like continuing stories, but there are also positives, right? You get to see them in these impossible stakes, that they're they're not strong enough to overcome alone, and that's the promise of a shared universe, right?
And again, since Spider-Man is like the most popular character in Marvel, any big crossover, Spider-Man's going to be there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and he too, I think, especially in those big crossovers, is always such a breath of fresh air, because when those crossovers come, the stakes are by design like almost so high as to be like existential, right? And it's like hard, like how do you even conceive of like fighting something like Thanos, who like can just snap you out of existence, right? Like the stakes are so high, it's like almost not threatening anymore.
Well, because it has to be, because if you have the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and the Hulk, and
100%. But that's why Spider-Man's great, is because you throw him in there, and now you're he's your window, like he's the guy that's down there and is like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. In fact, in Infinity Gauntlet, he has a great combo with Cloak, another street level hero who Doctor Strange calls up, and who Cloak is thinking like, I don't know what they're thinking bringing me in here. I am not good enough for this. And Spider-Man has to be like, hey, none of us know if we are. We just got to do our best. And like it's such a like great, like that's what Spider-Man is,
Yeah.
I remember when I first started reading, I started going back, and like the basically the time frame, the story period that like I fell in love with, after the fact, was like the Tom DeFalco Ron Friends run of Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah.
Especially right after Secret Wars, because I picked up the collection, and that was like the beginning of him, popping out of the thing after Secret Wars. I was like, wait, what is this Secret Wars? And I must find these issues of Secret Wars and read them.
Why is he wearing this black suit now?
Especially gets home and he's like, whoo, remember that time Galactus almost stepped on me? I'm like, wait, what?
Well, so here's a question I think is kind of like the Star Trek, who's your captain? Who's your favorite Spider-Man villain?
Oh, I was going to ask you that
that's
question.
A good one.
I'll just beat you to the jump.
I mean, for me, it's probably Mysterio.
Oh,
okay.
I always really like the look of Mysterio with the weird dome head and the eye epaulets and he's so weird. And all of his stories were really cool. Like I can't think of a single Mysterio appearance that I was really disappointed by. I think they were all really good.
Yeah, I love Mysterio. He's great. I always wanted him to have a Kraven's Last Hunt style story. He has that Daredevil story, which is pretty good. But I want him to have I feel like he's a character who has yet to have his best story.
Yes, I agree. He hasn't had his moment to shine yet.
Yeah. But he's so good.
Oh yeah. You know what? It probably sounds cliche, but I mean, I think the one who's like really gone toe to toe with Spider-Man the most, and it seems so weird now where he's at these days, but Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, classic. Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you can't argue that the Green Goblin is not one of his greatest foes.
Yeah.
In his various incarnations, right? Like the old cackling goblin Norman is great. The mask off. I'm really partial to the like Dark Avengers era Norman.
Oh yeah.
Trying to be Norman,
Iron Patriot. Yeah.
Couldn't like keep the goblin inside and was always fighting that. I always thought that was so cool.
I mean, I always felt like they like maybe one step behind, but they were almost trying to make him Marvel's Lex Luthor at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I think it almost worked.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, just everything Norman's done. I mean, again, of course, you know, the death of Gwen. It's
absolutely.
Everyone knows that. It's been in how, you know.
Yeah.
You know, funny story about that too. So after I've written this book, and I end up talking to a lot of people who aren't as familiar with Spider-Man's story, not necessarily dummies, but people who have yet to learn. And they were, you know, I tell them about what I was writing about, and I'd mentioned Gwen Stacy, and I was shocked at how many sort of like non-comic fans just no concept of who Gwen Stacy was.
I thought if nothing else, the Andrew Garfield movies would have, you know, that would have sparked some
right. Yeah,
I would have thought the same thing, but I think a lot of those people think that was Mary Jane. And I just because it's not like I think it's something. It's just one of those things that I think when you're into comics, is such a thing you take for granted, right?
True.
Batman's Bruce Wayne, Spider-Man is affected by Gwen Stacy. Like these are just things you know, you know. And then you walk, you know, you end up talking about it with people who are sort of a little outside the circle, and it was a surprising reminder to me that people like don't know these things about Spider-Man. You know,
I mean, I guess we have Spider Gwen and stuff now, but I guess the original Gwen, died in the early 70s.
50 years ago.
Like even people that know about Spider Gwen that have seen the new Spider-Verse movies, like I don't think that there is the connection that is who that character sort of is built out of.
Yeah.
You know, like she's just a new character.
Yeah.
Which for all intents and purposes, she is. So like, it's okay.
Right.
I mean, that was a big moment in comics, the death of Gwen, because I mean, we weren't like killing off, like the main character's love interest there, every other day.
Yeah, that was huge.
And so close on the heels of the death of her father, too.
Yes.
Right.
You basically killed off that whole family. It's like
1-2 punch.
A couple years apart. I don't think anyone saw them actually like following through with that. And they, and that she stayed deceased for a very long time. I mean, technically still is, depending on how you look at it.
Right.
And, even like every time they had some fake out about bringing her back, thank you, the Jackal. They never really followed through on it. And I think that just speaks to how impactful and important that moment was for him. Like that ultimate failure, I think goes back to what makes Spider-Man so great.
Yeah. Sometimes he does lose.
Yeah, he loses badly, and there's consequences.
Right.
I love Superman. But he doesn't lose. Not really.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of most most heroes. Captain America. I'm trying to think of other heroes. Like, I guess he got turned into a werewolf once, but that's not the same.
With Superman, Superman's great, but you could relate more to Spider-Man. I mean, you could open up the new issue of Spider-Man. Oh, he might have a cold. Hey, I had a cold.
Or he's struggling to pay his rent or whatever. Yeah, it's just it's more relatable.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but Norman Osborn, is certainly one of the greatest Spider-Man villains, probably one of the greatest. Like, he's one of my favorite comic villains in general.
Who would you say is your favorite
That's what I
Spider-Man?
was gonna say. Who's
My
your
favorite
Yeah.
Spider-Man villain? So I like the weirdos. I like, I mentioned this story earlier, but I really like the Vulture because I think he's a villain unlike most other comic book villains, and that like
True.
his weakness is just age. Like he's old, and that's not something that you see sort of engaged with in comics that much. And I think that's really interesting. And like oftentimes his stories revolve around like him trying to deal with regret, like and wingsuits, but like those two things, and I think that's a really interesting character. I've always liked Sandman quite a bit. I think his powers are interesting. And I think that the way that he's always been portrayed as like a conflicted villain has always been really successful. Like I remember he became an Avenger, a substitute Avenger for like when I was first starting to really dig into comics, and I was like, how could the villain become an Avenger? And ever since then, I was just kind of like really intrigued by this idea of like this reluctant villain who's like, he always has a pretty good reason as much as you do for what he's doing. And again, I think his powers again are like interesting. And I think creators have really gone a long way to explore what his powers could mean, having him like bond with a beach or like get burned and turned into glass, or like, or what is it even like, where does his consciousness live? Like a single grain of sand somewhere, like all these sorts of like interesting questions about a man made of sand, I think are always really interesting.
When he got into the fight with Hydro Man and they
Hydro Man, No, Sandman's basically immortal on there. Like you can disperse him, but eventually he's going to pull himself back together.
Right.
Well, there was that. I can't remember who wrote it. I know Chris Baccello illustrated it. But where there was that story where it's like a Sandman from the very far, like the end of time.
Oh yeah.
Back and like inhabiting his earlier consciousness, and Spider-Man has to fight this like Sandman from the end of time. Just a couple of issues. It's it's good. It is sort of melancholy a little bit, in its way, very cosmic. Well, in a sort of surprising way, but ends up being very cosmic. I think that the through line with all of Spider-Man's villains, in the same way that it is with Spider-Man, is that they're all very human. I like when you have a story about like about a tragic Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like Rhino, I think. If you've ever read the Spider-Man's Tangled Web story, Flowers for Rhino, Flowers for Algernon riff, where he gets smart, thinking it's going to make him happy, but then he realizes he just wants to smash. But it's great. It's very heartfelt. I think Spider-Man's villains more often than not have a very grounded, relatable sort of like impetus to their villain, with the exception of maybe a Green Goblin or a Venom.
Right. Yeah, Carnage or somebody.
Or Carnage, right?
yeah.
I hope he's not relatable.
When you said you like the wacky ones, I thought I was waiting for you to throw out like Hypno Hustler or Big Wheel or something.
The White Rabbit.
Don't get me wrong. I do like those as well. I mean, talk to me like let's talk about Typeface. When are we getting? Like I'll take that all day long. Rocket Racer, hell yeah.
Yes. Will o' the Wisp.
Armadillo. I guess that's not really a Spider-Man villain, but yeah. Oh, I like the weirdos. No, for sure. My favorite, I even got him. One of my goals when I got this assignment, actually, I was talking to one of my friends who works at Marvel before I wrote the book, and I was like, I got one mission in doing this, and that's like, I'm gonna get in Rec Rap. Like, I'm gonna write a thing for Rec Rap, who is the demon Peter Parker. Dark Web, who I love and want to see more adventures from forever. And sure enough, Got him in there. I love a rec rap. I love, like
he's basically Bizarro. Yeah.
I would never say that on the record, but he is a fun character.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it's again, like I think at their core, like what I like about superhero comics are these like totally out there circumstances. Like, I mean, like what's Rec Rap's origin, right? That Spider-Man accidentally got sent to a hell dimension, accidentally saved a small demon who then went and got a piece of a symbiote to become his favorite superhero now, and now escaped hell to fight crime in New York. Like, sure. Yeah. Like, that's comics to me. That's great. Let's more of that. And then Spider-Man specifically has that power to be like, okay, all that, but also like here's some like rent problems that to make it relatable to you.
Yes. All right, I'm going to test you now, Eric. All right, I want your thoughts. Okay. What are your thoughts? Here we go, controversy. What are your thoughts on Spider-Man's marriage?
Oh, I knew he was going to ask that.
Sure. I mean, lots of people do. Very controversial. Yeah. If you're asking about the event that happened, the wedding of Spider-Man, I would like to say that I think it is awesome that they married an actor on the field at Shea Stadium with Stan Lee officiating, with vows written by Peter David. I think that's awesome. The marriage itself, like, I don't know that I have a super hard opinion. I can kind of see both sides. I think that there probably end up being like more story possibilities with him being single. But I don't know. It's a hard thing because I also think that there's a fun challenge in saying like, okay, now this character's married. Like, how do we keep this interesting? And like, how do like, it's comic books. You can do anything. So like,
yeah, I mean, I could see though them where they're at right now, and they're still married. I mean, Mary Jane has the Venom symbiote right now. They could be married. She has the Venom. How's that wacky? It's like, oh, you have my ex. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand why they went out of their way to get rid of the marriage and like set him on a different path and all that. I can understand the thinking behind that, and I also don't have a strong opinion about the way that they did it. I know that everyone, there's a lot of there's to this day a lot of controversy around Brand New Day and that sort of reset. I'm of a mind that like any way they would have done it would have not been fulfilling to some people. But they did it, and so now it just is, right? Like, is it any crazier than any of the other things that have happened to any single Marvel character, like in their history? I mean, like when the Thing died, he went to heaven and met God, who might have been Jack Kirby,
yes,
and then came back to Earth, and then everyone's like, Spider-Man's marriage is, I need that, like,
and like you were saying, Captain America was a werewolf for a hot minute.
Yeah, but he got better, right?
But he got better. Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Like,
right? Yeah.
Like, it's fine. It's all just comics, It's all just people trying to tell a good story.
Yeah, I mean, I just always held a special place because I think maybe when I started reading, it was like towards the beginning of their marriage and just the nostalgia of it. And again, I started reading when I was 10 years old. I thought it was great. I'm like, Spider-Man's not alone. He has someone to swing home to at night, and it's like, how was your day, dear? Oh, great. I punched Shocker in the face a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because it's really, really what it is I think this is one of the first really in continuity struggles to deal with this question that hits pretty much every superhero, which is like, how do they grow up? Like, what do we do? All of these heroes, like major heroes, are like 80 plus years of story going on. And I personally think the smartest thing is when they just kind of ignore it. You know, I mean, the real answer is the sliding time scale, of course, where everything is 15 years from the Fantastic Four's rocket launch, in continuity at all times. But it's an interesting question, and I don't think it was done particularly elegantly with that, but they tried a thing, you know.
And I'm just like, they could let him be married. I mean, if they want a single Spider-Man, they have enough Spider people now, like Miles Morales, Ben Reilly, one of my favorites, Ben Reilly. Yeah, you literally can have a married Peter and a single Peter.
Well, I think they did try that, and that they apparently did.
During the Clone Saga, it's like, yeah, they're kind of like, oh, Ben's the real Peter, but it's like, yeah, he can't really take back his name because everyone's gonna be like, well, why aren't you married to Mary Jane anymore? And you know.
I mean, I think they could. I think again now, I think that would have flown a lot more easily than it did then.
Yeah.
Where it's been so widely accepted, this idea of a multiverse, and even unmultiversal, like multiple people carrying the same mantle, which I think is a great thing. You know, I think that as a whole, readers and fandom, we still haven't cracked how to totally sunset a character. You know, like we've gotten to the point where we've like tried it a little bit, and like Sam Wilson is Captain America, and Captain America is like the U.S. soldier for a little while. No, he's coming back, you know, and now they're both there, you know, but it's like, we can't quite do it. You know, Batman's kind of tried it. Spider-Man, obviously, most of the heroes.
Well, yeah, I think they're just afraid of alienating some of the fan base, because it's like, well, that guy was my favorite one, and you retired him, so
100%. Like, like there's a business logic to it that I completely understand.
Yep.
And I think there's like a story logic to it that I, in my heart of hearts, want to see them be like, okay, like this character's story has come to an end. Like this is Bilbo Baggins now, you know, and he's over here, and now there's some Frodos that are going to take his legacy.
Yeah. Carry on the torch.
To carry on the torch, right? And I just don't know that that's, you know, again, like for any number of business and story reasons, you know, it's never quite happened. And again, not the worst thing, just that I think is where it's at. Yeah.
All right. So Peter Parker is probably your favorite, but who is your next favorite Spider person?
Next favorite Spider person. That's a good question. I mean, maybe it's a gimme, but like, I really like Miles Morales. I think he's like the coolest Spider person. There would have been more of him in the book, but they asked me to save that one again in case there's more.
Oh yeah.
Not for any nefarious reason other than we think he could carry his own book.
That hopefully his next animated movie is coming hopefully soon.
Oh, true.
Why are they taking so long?
I don't know.
This is a thing, an industry thing I'll never understand, which is like, hey, you created a wildly successful, both monetarily and culturally, like animated film. You know what? Hold off on the next one.
Yeah. Well, let's wait 5 years.
Yeah. Let's wait 5. Let's give it 5, and then maybe we'll approve it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
after we ended on a cliffhanger, let's just wait.
Right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, like Trolls 2 isn't out yet, but we're already working on Trolls 3. Like, why? Like, what's going on? Why can't we just have a nice thing? But yeah. Anyways, but I love Miles. I think again, one of the things I like about Spider-Man so much is his connection to the city, is a connection to New York specifically. I think he is more than almost any other hero, more than any other hero, really. He is a New York superhero. His powers are like they work in New York because it's got tall buildings. Like his connection with the community and the city is so intrinsically tied. And I think that in creating Miles Morales, they created a different version of a New Yorker who like is still so intrinsically tied to like the culture of the city, and really embodies like all of those really humanistic parts of Spider-Man that made Peter Parker so successful. So I love Miles. I've really, really enjoyed his introduction. I think of like some of the more like tertiary spider people. I've always liked Spider-Ham. I like that he finally got like a wide release in the movies though.
Yeah.
And I think it's really fun that he's been introduced into like a wider continuity. And who else? Oh, and Spider-Girl, like Mayday Parker.
Yes.
That I think the fact that she keeps getting a shot like is awesome. Like I think she's a really cool character. And yeah, I think the MC2, like her story there is underrated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look how many issues she got in it. Again, what other character, who's not even in like the main timeline or that just
main reality. Yeah.
Gets that many issues.
Yeah.
It's that many issues, and like again has like, and it's really classic Spider-Man stuff too.
Yes.
Spider-Girl stuff, like if you like those 80s 90s sort of Spider-Man stories, like that spirit lives on in those Spider-Girl stories. Like the vibe, I think is what I'm trying to say about those. And I think that's really fun, that those types of stories have a place to live, so I think Spider-Girl's she's really cool.
Yeah, because that's another great Spider-Man writer, who I don't know if gets enough credit, Tom DeFalco.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
because like another underrated run is like that run right after the Clone Saga, where Tom DeFalco is writing Amazing and Jamie Mathias is writing Spectacular again.
Oh yeah.
Is that when there is that really great Return of the Goblin story that Humberto Ramos illustrated?
I think that's.
I mean, Norman is back after the Clone Saga. Yeah, he kind of like buys out the Daily Bugle, and he's yeah. Then he puts the big bounty on Spider-Man's head, which leads to the stuff.
Slingers, yeah,
that's right. Oh yeah, and then because he's framed for murder. That's when.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, what happened to the Slingers? I'll be honest, it didn't follow him.
Yeah.
I mean, that book ran for 12 issues. Then they would pop up every so often over the years.
Back a couple times. Yeah.
I mean, the original Hornet got killed by Wolverine when he's being controlled by the Hand. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they pop up every so often. No, they did pop up. I don't know if they popped up since then, but they did. Spider-Man Beyond, but no, I remember like when Peter David was writing that Ben Reilly series, like in 2017, they like popped up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad they're still around. I just didn't follow them around.
Yeah,
I always like when you find like the weird character that pops up as like a tertiary throwaway or like it's going to get killed character. Just because I like to see them. Like one of my favorite outside of Spider-Man, like Marvel characters, again, I really like the weirdos, is Maggot, the X-Man.
Oh yeah.
Two worms that could like eat anything. Again, just such a weird power.
Yeah.
But I thought the design was so cool. It's like a Joe Madureira design from the 90s. I always loved him. And then everyone else was like, I don't get it. Which fair, because it's not like he had a great moment in the comics really, but it was a cool concept. And then I remember he showed up in some like some X-Men comic, like Agent X or something like that. But like showed up for 2 issues just to get like murdered. And I was did Maggot dirty. Like justice.
I hate it when they do that.
I think he's back though, because I'm trying to remember, was that him? I think he might have showed up in the recent Storm run.
Possible. Oh, I guess you know what though? He probably came back with Krakoa.
I was going to say,
that's true. They brought everybody back with that.
Every mutant's on the table now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my other thing. I'm like, I'm like, is every mutant character now like a clone? Because they're all basically killed off and brought back during Krakoa. I'm like, so seems like the whole mutant race now are just like I say they're plant people, so they're like impossible impossible clones.
Well, I mean, if they're perfect clones, then are they really clones?
Not true.
Yeah.
That's the question. Sorry.
That's the heartbreak of comics, though. Is like when you fall in love with those like secondary characters who you might not see for a few years, and you just get worried. You're like, oh no, next big event they're gonna be looking for cannon fodder. Hope they don't kill off such and such character.
Yeah.
Well, but on that same note, those side characters, like they're just not gonna show up. Like they're safe because there's no room for them in the big.
Right.
Big guys you got to look out for.
Yeah.
Unless it's like this way off base from Spider-Man at this point, but like you're talking about do you remember Secret Invasion, the original series, like event series, came out, and for months they were really talking up who's a Skrull, who's going to be revealed. Like, is it Wolverine? Was Wolverine a Skrull for all these years? Was it Cap? Was it Spidey? And then it was like, it was Jarvis, and everyone's like, oh no, not that character. You know what I mean? Like
not the butler.
No,
I knew his dusting was off lately.
Yeah. That's like the one example I can think of where it's like, oh, you really did go for the third tier. Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Which Bobby Morse, great.
That
character.
is such a weird thing because she was killed at the end of West Coast Avengers, but then meanwhile turned out it was a Skrull. So meanwhile, there's a Skrull impersonating Mockingbird in hell with Mephisto.
In hell, battling for eternity.
Now that's a great concept for a comic. Let's catch up with the Skrulls who are in hell.
Yes, absolutely.
Who are like, we don't belong in human hell.
What are we doing here?
Well, that was the weirdest thing too, because it's like, remember they made it look like they brought back Marvel. But meanwhile, he had been like a Skrull sleeper, but like his programming broke, so he couldn't wake up as a Skrull. He was stuck as Marvel.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I remember them teasing that. I'm not sure I even read that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And although Mockingbird Spider-Man connection, they had a short-lived relationship as well during the Parker Industries.
Right. Yeah. Forgot about that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Also, shout out Skrull Kill Crew, one of the great forgotten Skrull series.
Oh
my. But yeah, I mean, I love my secondary character. I'm still waiting for a big return for Quasar for
Yeah.
I loved Quasar. What was the name of his planet mentor? Eon.
Eon.
Yeah. What a funky, gross looking like floating head.
So weird.
This is why I like this. That's my kind of like cosmic comics. Like, okay,
totally.
I've got magic bands. When I bang them together, a space head talks to me and tells me how to fight people. Like, you get
perfection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, me and Justin are just huge Mark Grunwald fanboys, so yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Anything that he wrote.
Captain America, yeah.
Yeah, anything he wrote.
Absolutely. He did Rocket Raccoon, didn't he? Is that wrong?
That was Bill Mantlo.
Bill Mantlo, sorry. Whoops.
Yeah.
But that's the thing we're missing. Like, in the 90s, Mark Grunwald wrote Captain America for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean,
that's how long. Wasn't J.M. DeMatteis on Spider-Man for like,
I don't know. I mean, I know he left and came back. I don't know. He might have, but I know like Peter David on the Hulk. I think that was another 10
Oh,
years.
yeah.
But like also like Dan Slott on Spider-Man is maybe the longest comic run of any one writer. So it's certainly the longest Spider-Man writer.
Consecutive.
Consecutive. Like I think, like well over 1,000 issues or something like that.
Superior Spider-Man.
Oh, I love Superior Spider-Man. I thought Superior Spider-Man was a great pivot.
That was my favorite of Slott stuff, is Superior Spider-Man.
I thought Superior was really good. I'm a big fan of the Grim Hunt. I thought that was a really cool series. just the whole lead up of like the gauntlet. So it was like short little stories of like Spider-Man facing off against his greatest villains and really spotlighting these villains just to wear him down, so that the Kravinoff family behind the scenes was like always like working their things. And then the big denouement is they resurrect Kraven and he's disappointed at them. Like, what a great twist. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Grim Hunt was great, but yeah, Superior Spider-Man, really terrific. And I also I really liked the pivot into Parker Industries and then even on into like the Red Goblin stuff. Like I thought that was
cool. Yeah.
How do you feel, Eric, about Spider-Man 2099? What's your opinion on
that? I think he should stay in 2099. which I don't mean as derogatory to the character. I like.
No, I know. Yeah.
But I think once you take him out of that context, he's less cool.
Yes.
Like he seems like. Here's the trouble I always have with Spider-Man 2099 when he's brought into like the modern or the like our contemporary Spider-Man is that like he's in a future where he has all these like crazy mind-blowing gadgets and like an AI that helps him out and all these things. So in some ways he has all these superior weapons and things, and he comes into our time, but he's always outmatched by like our stuff, which okay, again, it's comics. I'm not trying to turn into too much of a pedant here about it, but it feels like the stakes are lowered for him, right? Like I think his coolest stories are when he's like an anti-corporate cyberpunk crime fighter, that's cool. Spider-Man 2099 to me. It's what makes him different and unique,
I feel like they do that to a lot of the Spider-Men, including Peter, sometimes where it's like, depending on what story it is, it's like, oh, if they need him beat up, they'll have him beat up, and then, turn around and, he's beating up Fire Lord or Juggernaut, something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that to some extent that exists, right? With like every character all the time. It's a it's plot armor, right? But I do think that like there are, you just like lose what makes a character unique in some ways if you take them out of their unique context in that way. I think Spider-Man 2099 is one of those characters that doesn't necessarily is just not as exciting outside of 2099. Yeah.
I don't think the character was designed to ever come out of 2099.
No, I mean, none of them were. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any of the other titles that I guess. Yeah. No, I think they all exist in their one little world that they made that was really, that worked together really well. And some of them probably should have just not even been in 2099. I don't know. I don't know who's talking about Ravage. I think it is Punisher 2099. We don't need that necessarily. But I think there is an argument to be made too. About the multiverse, about closing it down a little bit. I this is one that I'm on two minds of, and so I don't have a firm belief on this, but I often think that both by opening up the multiverse so that all these amazing characters can be any version that you could ever want them to be, they can be you. It's the most exciting thing that's happened to any of these characters. I love that about the Spider-Verse and any of these multiversal tales. On that same note, when it makes it so easy to cross them over with the main hero, with not the main hero, but with sort of the other incarnations, it's easy for them to lose some of their unique flavor. And that I think happens to even your Peter Parkers, right?
Sure.
So I think that there's something to be said for using the multiverse more sparingly than maybe it has been in the past decade.
Yeah, a little less is more approach.
Yeah, very much so. Make it feel special. I remember when Miles Morales and Peter Parker first met in that first Spider-Man crossover, and it was this big thing where it's
it was huge.
Or not, wasn't sorry, it wasn't Miles Morales, it was the other, it was Ultimate Peter. But either way, it was huge. They're like, oh, those two, they can't cross over. That's crazy. But it was cool, because it was a unique thing.
Yeah, I like it when they kind of did make them all solo and not like pack them all together.
Yeah, it's like it's like eating ice cream with a shovel,
Right.
I kind of.
You can, but you don't really have. You probably shouldn't.
You still like keep it special,
Right. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Eric, Justin? I think we need to.
No, I think we covered a lot of the good stuff. Yeah.
Great.
But yes, thank you, sir, for your time again. I always love talking Spider-Man. All right, well, hold on. I should have put this up before. I do have. All right, so yes, kids, the assignment is go pick up Spider-Man for Dummies.
Yes.
Anywhere you buy books, correct?
There it is. Nice.
Hey, any talk of an audio books? I know Troy was saying they did. I think the Marvel Universe one, they got an audio book. Any talk about audio for this one?
Not to me. It did just come out in French.
Oh,
cool. Very cool.
So
that's yeah.
I mean, it's entirely I haven't looked into it. It is possible they did an audiobook and I would not even have heard about it. But that would be cool. But yeah, it came out in French. I think there might be some other languages in the not too distant future. So if you are a other than English speaker or reader, we might have you covered.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Nice. Very cool.
Do you have any other projects going on, or do you want to promote any social media or?
Yeah, you can follow me at Eric Grundhauser on Instagram. And yeah, I mean, I'm working on some other projects. I have a long in development project called the Strange Ways Almanac that is sort of a metatextual atlas of fictional places that tells a story throughout it. So that should be coming out hopefully in the next few months. I keep saying that, and then it keeps getting pushed back because that's what happens with these things. Yeah, and other than that, pick up Spider-Man for Dummies and follow me on Instagram. Yeah.
Yes, follow him on Instagram. Get all the updates. So.
Yeah, exactly. That is where you will hear about it first.
All right, everyone. Yeah, Eric, thank you.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great time.
Yeah, great. All right, we'll talk soon.
Yes. Thanks, sir.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh man, Lilith missed it, man. She had another Deep Space Nine fan here.
I know. Yeah, she could have talked some Deep Space Nine.
Exactly. Oh, that's what we should do. We should do a Deep Space Nine episode. Be like, Lilith, I have the game man for you.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
we'll do a round panel about it. I love it.
I'll be like, yeah, I know some maniac who likes Deep Space Nine. All right. Yes. All right. So let me see. Like I've been saying, we've been recording these out of order. Yes, next episode will be our Wonder Man Disney Plus series review. Me and Lilith, I think Will's joining us, so come back for that. After that, you will hear the Absolute Batman episode we did with Lilith and Kristen, and then after that, you'll hear the new Supergirl episode that me, Justin, and Lilith did, and then after that, I believe is the Secret Wars episodes.
Secret Wars 2.
Yes. Speaking of Spider-Man, yeah, we got two Spider-Man issues in that.
Some Spider-Man in there, yeah.
Well, again, it's like anything Marvel. There's always a chance Spider-Man's gonna pop up.
Absolutely.
That's what I told. That's what I said. I'm like, how do you condense 60-some years into a book?
Oh man, yeah.
Like, blow the minds of people
who
have read comics their whole lives.
Yeah.
I mean, my head spins for some of this stuff sometimes. I'm like, just walking into it.
All those years of history.
I mean, I get it sometimes because I'm just like, when someone's like, I'm always like, yeah, I should maybe check out Doctor Who, but I'm just like, where do I start? There's so much.
Right? Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get it with people who don't read comics. I get it.
Yeah, 60 years worth of history. Yeah.
All right. So send us your thoughts. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can follow us on all social media, including our new Substack. But yeah, all the usual suspects. Yeah, our YouTube channel. We just crossed the 900 subscriber mark. So yes, help us push to 1,000.
You're so close.
Yeah, we need like 99 more. Come on.
Yeah, we're almost there.
And you can also help support us buying merch at TeePublic and Spring. Get merch with the new
brand new logos.
Podfather Phil, and should have some more coming soon. So
yeah,
keep checking the stores. And of course, speaking of the missing queen, yes, support us through her favorite method. Just rain random money on us through the Cash App link. And again, this we don't get paid for this. This is a labor of love. So yes, please help us. Yes. Your continues. Oh, we need a telethon. We need a telethon.
We could do that. Yeah.
Which one of you rides a unicycle? Come on.
We need the money. Gimme.
Me and Kristen could get our cats to perform some tricks or something.
You two holding up your cats. Dancing. We'll probably do some like dirty shadow puppet theater or something. And of course, speaking of dirty, yes, the Patreon where
AVN.
Oh yeah, the February episode. Yes, covering Lil's favorite program, the Adult Video News Awards. Yes, because you get exclusive, uncensored, at least one episode of that every month. An exclusive, uncensored, could be anything. I mean, we've talked Justin's music. We've talked like Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah.
It could be anything. And when you subscribe, yes, you can request topics for us to discuss.
That's right.
And I've been adding early access to our regular episodes, so you can get these episodes early before anyone else. So
yes, exclusive early access.
Exactly. So yes, more for your money. So yes. So please go to Patreon right now. Subscribe. Go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics.
Fucking crazy.
Every time we have like a first time guest like Eric, I'm like, yeah, they probably don't know how crazy we are. Especially when we're not all here. I'm like, if it had been you and Lil, that probably would have been a different story.
Yeah, no adult supervision.
Ew. I know we just met, sir, but you are the adult supervision tonight.
Yeah, surprise.
Yes. And if you're listening to us for the first time, because we talked to Eric, you may not know this. Justin the Owl does another podcast, The Lost Library of Legends. So, Justin, tell them what it's all about.
Yes, I have a solo show that is dedicated to some lost and undiscovered comic book gems of the past. This month's is Firebrand from DC, which ran for a total of 9 issues back in 1997. We're going back to the 90s here, bitch.
Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of Justin drops. A lot of them come from, so another Patreon episode was he did a drunken unboxing.
The unboxing, yes. Yeah, I love it.
Especially those 90s comics, man. They really get him going.
Yeah. Oh, totally. The gimmick covers. Yeah, the gimmick covers and the image covers. Yeah. She looks like she was just working a stripper pole down at Divas. That too.
That's right. You get exclusive access to Justin's thoughts on 90s comics.
Boo, long-head Superman. Boo.
There's a spoiler. And help support one of our other co-hosts, Kristen. Go pick up her book, Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder, on Amazon. A huge Dick Grayson fan. She put together this book with writers and fans all about Dick Grayson. You'll learn secrets about Robin, Nightwing, and again, she is a college professor, so your purchase does help support an educator. So yes, go to Amazon, pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. And you can follow me all over social media at PodfatherPhil, and you can get that logo on merch on our TeePublic and Spring Shop. So,
yeah,
show me how much you love me by buying me merch. Tell me how much you love me. Who am I? Little Hellfire? All right. Yes, Daddy. All right. All right. Thank you for joining us. Again, next episode you will hear will be our Wonder Man, our review of the Wonder Man series on Disney Plus. But for another episode, we have been your Capes episode
Lunatics.
Oh God, that's another thing. If this is someone's first episode, what is up with that puppet?
What's the puppet about? Who's Professor Esser?
Especially if this is like they're only listening to the audio version. It's like, what was that voice? Remember, Stanley said this is all. Every comic may be someone's first. Every podcast episode may be.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Eric Grundhauser.
Yes.
For another great chat. And see you next time.
See you next time.